I'm Kritika from the Zoho Sprints team. So I'm going to quickly transport you all to a beautiful period in history, the early 1990s, where postcards, internet, and telephone booths all coexisted, right? It was a time when we memorized a truckload of phone numbers. We waited patiently for letters, right? And we used dial-up tones as background music for our lives, isn't it? Remember all those old Nokia tune days, right? And on Friday nights, you would actually rent a movie, and trust me, you would return the DVD on Monday, rewound if you were nice. Technology was evolving, but slowly enough that we still had time to cherish the analog. That era wasn't just nostalgic, but it marked a turning point for many industries. Some began experimenting with new models, while most others were stuck with what had already worked for them. So as we begin, I would like to share one such story, a quiet tug of war between two different players, where one would go on and change an entire industry, while the other, not so much. But trust me, both of them have left us with lessons that hold true even today. Shall we get started? Right. Yes? Perfect. So, at first glance, you can see who the veteran here is. Company B, right? And back then, I'm sure they were the giant in the room. And interestingly, Company A started their business with a risky new model in the DVD rental space. And as you can see, both of them are in the DVD rental business, wherein Company B had already cemented their presence as a household name pretty much in every major city or even a small village in their times as the leading physical home movie and video game rental chain. But here is a small twist. Company A started struggling, financially shaky, barely staying afloat, wherein Company B, on the other hand, was riding high with more than 9,000 stores opened worldwide and a market cap of $4 billion. So what did Company A do? They decided to sell their business for $50 million. And because the giant is already having a monopoly there, they just go there and they're asking, to buy their business for $50 million. But unfortunately, they get laughed out of the room by Company B. And fast forward to today, with a total net worth of a whopping $422 billion, Company A becomes the undisputed leader in the global marketing stream, wherein Company B had to quietly disappear and they had to file for bankruptcy in 2010. The giant in the room had to quietly disappear. So now, any guesses who Company A and B are? Perfect. Yes. Okay. Pat on your backs. Right. So Blockbuster was the giant who ruled, who was a monopoly at one time, but they had to disappear because, of course, they could not adapt. So let's do some quick retrospection about what went wrong with Blockbuster. So I was reiterating this again and again. They were the king of Friday night plans back then, but when the world was changing faster, they hesitated to, right? So by the time they had taken the lead, others had already won the race. It was more like that. And they failed to invest early in digital streaming and online DVD rentals and everything. I sort of feel they held on to the DVD model for too long. They just didn't want to unlearn, the business practices that they were into and shift their gears as fast as the industry trends started changing. And the third point is going to be the most important fulcrum of what actually set the path for Blockbuster's decline. It was not Netflix that killed Blockbuster. It was their late fee model. They held on to the late fee model for too long, and Netflix very conveniently capitalized on this pain point by launching their rental program with no late fee. That instantly got them into the goodwill of their prospects and customers. And the last one, of course, this is an obvious guess. They had this amazing opportunity to acquire Netflix. They missed the bus. That single decision would have rewritten their history, right? Yes. And then on the other hand, Netflix did everything right. They were lucky to have entered the DVD rental space right when the internet wave was kicking in. And they rode along the wave. And they did all their research on place to the point perfect. Their user research was on point. They were studying the data behavioral patterns really well. They understood what was the gap in the then market, and they addressed it meticulously. And they did something that no other player in their times even dared to think about. They forecasted this very concept of digital streaming being a thing in the future, to an extent where today every viewer feels that every piece of content that they view on Netflix is exclusively made for them, or it's exclusively recommended to them, right? So that is actually the catch. That was the master stroke in Netflix's business model. It's not like they had everything easy. They were about to get sold to Blockbuster at one point, but then when the industry had to change and there was something that needed a drastic reorg, they really, with swift pace, shifted their gears, and that speed was what made all the difference. Now you could ask me, Kritika, what does all of this have to do with Agile, right? Till now, I deliberately did not use that word because you should feel it. So Agile at its core, it's all about embracing change, adapting to change, responding to your users, and acting fast. So that is exactly what Netflix did right and Blockbuster failed to do, right? So if you see, the story is not just about the business. It's not just the tale of a winner and a loser. It's about what happens when you resist change, when you stick to certain set of plans, processes, your legacy, and ignore all possible signs of evolution, right? So if you see Agile as a concept, this is Agile. So the term Agile, let's just go back to the history of it before we just dive deep into frameworks, the concepts, Scrum, Kanban. We can reserve this for, the later part of this track. So let's look at the history a little bit. The Agile Manifesto was officially published only in the early 2000s, 2001. But then if you see, 20 years ago, 2 decades before, when waterfall practices were completely in the market in their prime time, people wanted something, as an improved version of failing waterfall methodologies in their businesses. So Agile, it started emerging. It did not happen overnight. It was more a movement that got shaped over years. So it emerged more as a mindset than as just a theory that has to come, boom, overnight. I am Agile. You guys have to follow me. No, it doesn't happen that way. It evolved in response to failing practices that was already in place. And then people were like, you know what? Let's make some changes, name it like this. Let's improve from there. So for the first time in 1986, the term Scrum gets coined for the first time in the project management context by 2 Japanese professors. And this originates from the world of rugby, where a team huddles closer in unison. They just push forward together to gain the control of the ball, right? And that idea of tight collaboration, fast momentum, and shared responsibility became the metaphor for how agile teams should work. So that's how this term gets coined first. And these Japanese professors were like, we love this. Why this should not be, the name of the improved approach that we are coming up with. So they're just including this in their new product development. That's the name of their book. And they're coining this for the first time. And then in 3 years, people wanted to improve on this Scrum as a term. And for the first time, we are seeing a framework called rapid application development. It's a further refined version of Scrum where, they are including quick iterations and early feedback as the critical components of the rules that they had set. So rapid application development is also being fondly called as RAD. So going forward, we'll just call it RAD, all right? And this framework was also one of the first frameworks to challenge the rigidity that existed in traditional software development life cycles. Because software development life cycles those days mirrored the exact waterfall practices, but in the software stream. So that was not helping the developers. And I would also put it this way, I feel RAD, it sort of made Agile more developer-friendly, right? And then in 3 more years, RAD is getting a makeover. People want to add some more structure to it. And they want to stress some more business collaboration to it. And they are calling it dynamic system development. And after that, in 1995, Scrum gets officially recognized as one of the approved software development frameworks. In 1999, extreme programming is picking up pace, and I would say this brought Agile to a software engineer's desk. People have been evolving so much, businesses were evolving, they are seeing great improvement in their software projects, but then the engineer's life was somewhere like, sailing on a sad boat, right? And so they had to have some help with aggressive testing, clean coding environment, and extreme programming came up with a set of rules that were more software engineer friendly. After that, in 2001, the world recognizes Agile as a broader term, as an approved methodology under which all the leaders across the world, they started including a lot of relevant frameworks, okay? And now I think with this history, we are good to enter into the next part of the syllabus, I would say, right? The Agile Manifesto. So at its core, Agile Manifesto comprises 4 important values, and let's see them one by one. So think of a time when a quick in-person conversation at your desk solved what endless emails could not. That's what the first value is all about. So Agile recognizes the fact that it's always the people who solve the problems and drive progress and not rigid systems, right? And say you're coming up with a 100-page software spec document. That's not going to help your prospect or your user if your product is not working fine. So Agile emphasizes on having tangible results, a software that runs over exhaustive paperwork. Agree with me? Right. The third one is about prioritizing customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So instead of signing long-term contracts upfront with your customers, Agile advocates for a method where you have to keep your customers really close with you throughout the process or throughout the tenure of your contract. That makes real sense. How about signing a contract, 5-year contract with your client, meeting them up, signing the deal in year 2025, and then catching up with them again in 2029? Does not make sense. You could have become, cold enemies already, right? So why give room for all of that? Instead, keep it very upfront, straightforward, transparent, and keep them close. It makes things really simple. And the last one, Again, this forms the heart of Agile in its essence, responding to change over following a plan. I love plans. I'm someone who loves having a to-do list. Before I had to catch my flight last minute, I'm like, da-da-da, is my passport there? Is my charger there? Yes, I love it. But in the last minute, in case if there is a change, what is the use of a plan that does not let you accommodate it, right? So plans are always good, but you should be on a platform that gives you some room to breathe, that lets you adapt to change. That's what this is all about, all right? And now that we have seen the theory behind the Agile Manifesto, let's be really honest. Are you really sure? Could you be giving me a guarantee that pretty much everyone who has studied the Agile Manifesto can implement it in real time 100%? No. Not everyone see clarity when these ideas hit the real world. It does not happen that way. Many of them see chaos as well. They get confused because they do not, implement this in real time. Rather, they go with a lot of assumptions. They sort of just get carried away with maybe, they get this acquired experience maybe from someone else who had not implemented it in the right way. And they go like, you know what, Agile is for the people who do not want to follow it. Structure. And it is for just software teams. Or, you know what, it's too complex. I just want to get rid of that. So people have got opinions about it. And now we have to pause and ask ourselves whether these opinions come from facts or are they driven by fears? So is it not time to break a few myths now? Let's do it. The first myth, Agile means no planning, it's just chaos. That's a myth, yes. And what's actually the fact? It's not just no planning, it's adaptive planning. So a real Agile platform should let its users to plan things differently. In fact, the Agile teams do planning all the time. But what is the difference? They just plan just enough that they get started with the work as early as possible, and they're going to be sure that that platform is going to let them make changes in the due course of the project. At the same time, there is not going to be any compromise in the deliverables that they're going to ship. So that is real adaptive planning. And the next myth, Agile won't work with fixed deadlines or budget. But in reality, Agile is so pro-deadline. Have you heard the concept of sprinting? Yeah, in Scrum framework, we let the people sprint, which means they have to deliver output in between 2 and 4 weeks, which is a very much approved fixed deadline. Just the only difference here is Agile teams respect deadlines differently. They sort of pick and choose what is the most important feature that the client wants, and they ship it first. So they're not anti-deadline. They just respect deadlines differently. And the way they treat deadlines, it's more in a way that it's more accommodative of the changes that the customers want. And it's more assuring for the offshore folks, the business teams who work on it, to be sure that they are happy, the customer is happy with what they're building, and these people who build the product or manage the project, they know what they're doing, right? Both of the parties are very clear about their business here. And the last one, this is one of the most famous ones. This should have taken position number 1 in the myths. Agile is only for software teams. Maybe if I was giving this presentation in 1986, this must have been a fact. But sadly, we are like 3 decades, later in terms of this presentation. So despite the fact that Agile originally was, introduced for software teams, now it's not the case. We've got many other domains in the industry like marketing, HR, legal, accounting, depending on Agile practices and adapting these approaches onto their daily work. Why? It's not because they have got marketing-centered tools in the market. It's because even the marketing, HR, legal, and accounting folks think in the agile way. So they want to adapt to change. They want to deliver faster. They do not want to compromise on the quality of their output. And hence, it's again not about the tools or the platform. It's more the mindset. We have got so many domains with a similar mindset where people want to embrace change, collaborate very tightly with each other, and produce results at the same time, not compromise on the quality of their output. So we have to realize the fact that Agile is for everyone. And now that we have broken a few myths now, let's get into the next level. We have crossed a few mazes now. What's the next challenge that the world should be probably facing in the Agile spectrum? Tools, right? Would you believe this is what the world was waking up to in the name of Agile tools? So there are so many tools in the market today. All right? They have got overwhelming dashboards, overcomplicating workflows, and 100-page manuals, which are made mandatory for people to learn them and to get onboarded to a module. So this is actually what Agile has been for a very longer time in the market. And at Zoho, we thought, oh my God, we have to change. It's high time. We have been doing so many things. What if, there was a simpler way for all these people? So let's just come in and let's help them do Agile the true way. Let's help people to embrace the true spirit of Agile and hence enter Zoho Sprints. So it's been 8 long years since Zoho Sprints came into the market. And we are from the family of Zoho projects. And Zoho projects is our flagship offering, which is in the business for close to 2 decades now. And it's been 8 years since Sprints got into the picture. And ever since then, we've been getting only better and better. And will you believe more than 300 plus teams in Zoho are using Zoho Sprints to build their products? And is it not a better testament, to the usual claim that we always make at every Zoholics possible, and we are always proud of it. It does not get bored at all. And the claim always is, Zoho runs on Zoho. And I'm sure this statistics, is a very fitting testament to that claim. So we trust our products. I run my marketing team on Zoho Sprints. And the Zoho Sprints engineering team, they build the new features, they test it, they release it out using Zoho Sprints. In addition to that, we have many other new products coming up in Zoho who trust Zoho Sprints on a daily basis and who are making their life on it, right? And in addition to that, we have more than 100K plus teams globally using this product as well. And the new addition is we recently made Zoho Sprints to be a part of the Zoho Projects Plus suite. And we launched it in the Zoho Day that recently happened a couple of months ago in the US. So these are the things that you'll have to know upfront about, what Sprints is all about and what we are up to in the market. So now it's time to have a look at some of the important features that I felt would help, make you take a few key takeaways from this track. I was spending a lot of time about adaptive planning, and this is the exact module where you would be doing it. So we've got 2 layers of backlogs supported. The first one to your left is the primary backlog of your project. We call that a project backlog. And the one to your right is called the sprint backlog. And trust me, not many tools provide you the option with 2 different layers of backlog. So you can ask your product owner or your project manager to come in and create as many work items as they want and dump them into the project backlog. And after your team is ready to commit to the next sprint, you could prioritize. So what is actually happening in the recording is My team is sitting on a call and prioritizing the work items from the backlog and pushing them into the sprint backlog. So what does it mean when a bunch of work items get into the sprint backlog? That means my team is ready to sprint for the next 2 or 4 weeks, and they are committed to deliver all the work items that are committed as part of the sprint. That's a serious commitment. And that can happen only if your planning is extremely thorough. And the backlog module helps you do that. The second one is the support of 2 important frameworks. One is a Scrum framework, and the other one is a Kanban framework. So let's start with a small example about, I'm sure here you may not have to be acquainted with these terms upfront. So I'm here to help you, gracefully transition into the rest of the slides. So I'm giving you an example of development of a mobile app like Uber Eats, and what if it is being built by a Scrum team. What you see to your left are the important phases that would be involved in the development of a mobile application like Uber Eats. The first one is the nature of the project is going to be very iterative and incremental, because the stakeholders would want to see an instant version of your app. And I have never seen a client who has been happy with just the first cut. Come on. So that calls for incremental delivery. So your tool should have the option to manage your releases really well, right? And so on and so forth. So the second point, recommends evolve with feedback. That's what I exactly just said. So they are going to be giving you some feedback, and if you're not going to submit the first cut within the deadline, you're just losing time. Both the parties are losing time. The sooner, the better. So a Scrum project enables a platform where you can keep iterating. You just keep improving. So that is what a Scrum project is all about. And if this is quite difficult for you, you can just look at the diagram. So the requirements get in, you start designing, you develop, you test, you deploy, and you review. Not the whole product, just the first chunk of it. And then you launch it, you repeat, and that's why it looks like a cycle, right? So here the focus is value-driven delivery and iterative and incremental delivery as well. These are the keywords that form the heart of a Scrum framework. Whereas on the other hand, this is what a Kanban project looks like. For customer support, maintenance, and operations-heavy projects, Kanban is the way to go. Why? The focus is only one thing, the number of work items in progress. So if your requirements are very simple, if the nature of the tasks that your business deals with is kind of monotonous relatively, not as complex as mobile app development, but something that's very predictable, at the same time where your team has to work on it on a day-to-day basis, provide results, and your focus is only the ultimate throughput of your work, then Kanban is the way to go. So the focus here is the status of your work items, whether it's in to-do or in progress or done. That's it. If the focus is about the status of work items, then it's Kanban. Or if it is more time-boxed, it's Scrum. Now, why am I telling this? We support both, and we support a blend of these as well. All right? So Scrum, Kanban, and Scrumban. Everything is supported here. The next one is availability of OKRs. This is a goal project management platform. So here, you can create your organizational goals and map them with desired key results. And you can start assessing each of your goals with your team from time to time. So we call this a goal management module, and this is available at the workspace level, at the organizational level. The next one is I don't want to waste your time on this. This is just a registration that we are doing that, even custom layouts are available in the tool. I'm sure you must have seen a lot of layouts in the span of the past 2 days. Most of Zoho's offerings provide a lot of customization in the template and layout space. So we've got customized layouts where you can just modify the way your working style happens based on your business requirements. The next one is custom functions. In this recording, you're going to see how I'm going to automate a small functionality. I want to send an email to my project manager when my sprint starts. So as soon as the sprint starts, I want that particular project manager to receive an email instantly. And that's what I'm doing it here. I got to just copy paste the code there, select the trigger event, give a name for the function, and just go. The next one is Agile reports. Will you trust me? I'm not sure if you would trust me. We've got more than 80 plus predefined Agile reports supporting both Scrum and Kanban. If you want a detailed demo of it, please feel free to come stop by, say hi at the expo we are having here. We'll be here for the rest of the day. In the interest of time, I'm just, throwing a few facts about Agile reports here. And one other additional takeaway you have to take from this track is Zoho Sprints is the only offering in the Zoho ecosystem to be truly Kanban. When I say truly Kanban, many tools might have the Kanban view because we know the world loves Kanban. It's very easy to just, move things across the board from to do to done. It's quite easy. But then Kanban reports are something a little more technical that have some formula and algorithm involved in the back end. And we have provided the platform where you can go and simply at just one single click, you can generate all the true Kanban reports from a recently released Kanban module. And you must have seen a few jargons there. And this is just a quick, simple breakdown of what some of the most popular Agile reports mean. Because you should be using burn up, burn down, cumulative lead diagram in your day-to-day life. In case if you want some instant help, feel free to take a pic of this. May save your day someday, I'm not sure. And yes, what is an Agile team without having this platform for tighter collaboration? So at Sprints, we totally understand the power of collaboration, and we are just getting better and only better. So here I have showcased 3 important functionalities with which you can achieve collaboration capabilities with your team. One is scheduling online and offline meetings. By online meetings, I mean there are teams with Scrum Masters and Agile coaches, which have, these are called Scrum roles. If there's someone who follow strictly Scrum, then they may need a few Agile ceremonies. And we support all the kind of meetings in here. And we also have an option to create a whiteboard, instantly get the team over a call, and do all the brainstorming on the whiteboard and get your work started. And the other well-known one is initiating a Zoho Click chat instantly. And interestingly, we recently had a meeting bridge go live. And there we have supported easy integration with 4 of your personal meeting tools. One is GoToMeeting, Zoom Meeting, MS Teams, whatever you want. You can just log into your personal account and integrate it with your tool. And the next one is about, yes, now we've covered everything that's Agile. Now it's time to talk about the necessity to have a blended hybrid project management technique. So that we call hybrid project management. And that's where Zoho projects and Zoho sprints comes together to give you an integration. And we call that a hybrid projects integration. And we have a customer, Handley Consulting from UK, who has successfully, used both these tools, and they're a Zoho One customer as well. And they have been using both projects and sprints to achieve their process efficiency on a daily basis. In that, on top of Zoho projects, they have developed UK's first chatbot, for patient care using Zoho Sprints, where they were able to plan everything from the backlog to accommodating change requests to bug fixing. They were able to do everything perfect. So I started this track with a case study, and I think this is a fitting testament to how, the predictability of Zoho projects and the adaptability of Zoho sprints is coming together and working in unison and making a beneficiary like Hanley Consulting achieve a lot of efficiency. They were at one point not able to roll out multiple vaccination platforms during the pandemic, and Zoho came and made their life really easy. So we have covered multiple dimensions of project management, starting from agile to blended, hybrid project management methodologies. So we believe in only one thing, in keeping up a very simple promise, irrespective of whether your project is purely agile or very structured or something that's in the hybrid mode. It all narrows down to just one thing, which is ownership, right? So, and that is the reason why we want to keep this promise, your projects, your way, because the best tools in the market should not ask you how to use it, but they must work best in the way you adapt, right? So with that, closing thoughts for the day, I'm reiterating this again. Agile is not alarming, it's empowering. Agile is not alarming, it's enabling. Agile is not alarming, it's exactly how today's modern teams thrive. And that's my time on the stage today. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.